Hello, wrestling fans, and welcome to NBC's 10 Count. I'm Steve Ball, but on today's edition, I am honored. I am privileged to talk to Jay White. How are you doing today?
I'm good. What did you say your name was? Steve?
Steve.
Steve. I'm doing good. Other things I like to do on my Friday morning than be talking to yourself, but we find ourselves here, so we'll just make it.
I guess so. But right now, you're one of the hottest commodities in professional wrestling. Not just New Japan, not just WWE, wrestling in general. Now, how does that make you feel?
Uh it feels like I'm on track. It's just what I expect of myself anyway. It's the expectations I give for myself, and I've always had. I've always set them pretty high. So to be having such a widespread impact, it's vindication that I'm on the right path, I guess.
True. And every time you speak, people listen. And it's
Mm-hmm.
unbelievable. Anytime you have a press conference, everyone tunes in. Now, why do you feel like everyone is gravitating towards you now versus before?
Uh, I'm not sure. That's a good question. You would probably have to ask the people that have changed their minds over the years rather than myself, because I'm just doing me. It's the other people's opinions that have changed. So I guess you'd have to ask them. But I'd have to guess it would just be that they've actually just at one point actually started to pay a little bit of attention, started listening a bit more, and rather than listening to other people's opinions, started to maybe come up with their own on myself. And as I guess I've listened to myself more and more, they've realized I make a lot of sense, and a lot of the time I stand by what I say. And you touched on it as well. It is interesting. Everybody wants to listen to me now because there's been times before. I know at the Walter Pyramid venue, I think in LA, they used to not even let me speak. I try to use the microphone and they'd boo me out of the building. So it's very, very interesting how the fans can flip like that.
Yeah, and obviously every time you do a press conference, everyone is listening. Every time you speak, it turns into a soundbite. It doesn't matter what you say. You could have sneezed and someone makes it into a soundbite. How does that make you feel? You said before people were booing you. Now, anytime you say anything, people are listening.
It's just like a big feeling of I told you so. I kind of told people I was going to get to this type of point and that it'll come around in the end. And as much as people try to deny it and fight it, they're all coming around in the end. So it's like I said, it's just one big feeling of yeah, I told you so.
And October 28th, New York City, Rumble on 44th Street, New Japan. It's taking over the Big Apple. And how do you feel about this? Because for so long, people wanted New Japan to come to America and just dominate because everyone talked about it was always WWE, New Japan, WWE, New Japan. Now, everything has popped up randomly, but it's always been, it feels like those two companies. And now you're coming to the Big Apple. Like, how does that make you feel? Because for so long, everyone wanted it to come, and now it's here, and you're the headliner.
Well, we've been here before. It's just been a little bit of a longer break than we would have liked.
Yeah,
Haven't really thought about it in relation to WWE at all. But New York's a big city for myself, for Bullet Club. I've had some big nights there. Sold out Madison Square Garden single handedly, of
of course.
course. We've had all sorts of great times and memories there. I know I had a match at Hammerstein Ballroom for Ring of Honor against Will Ospreay that people talk about every now and then as well. So no, New York's a big city for myself, for Bullet Club, for New Japan. So it's great to finally be getting back there. New York is some of the best wrestling fans around. So definitely excited to finally get back there. And like I said, we got two nights as well, not just the one. So
Yeah.
very excited for that.
And then obviously, what do you want fans to, I don't know, go when they see you in the ring and New Japan is in town? What do you want fans to feel like when they leave? Because obviously, New Japan has always been this like cool kid at the party type of feeling. Where like I want to watch, but I don't know how to watch, and then they find out how to watch, and it feels like it's always like the secret club that people want to be involved with, but yet don't know how to go about it. But now everyone is piling on to the New Japan fandom. How does it make you feel?
Honestly, you know what? You've thought about that a lot more than I have, and a lot deeper than I have. All those different layers there. I'm not too familiar with half of what you just said, to be honest. But how do I want them to feel when they leave? Obviously, the basic answer, you want them to come back. It's similar to just kind of wrestling in general. When people that aren't wrestling fans at all, they come along to the show, they're always going to enjoy it. And I guess it's the same for New Japan shows. If you're already a wrestling fan and you haven't been to New Japan shows and you're not sure, just go along and trust me, you'll enjoy it as well.
Yeah, and then January 4th, Wrestle Kingdom 17, you'll be defending your IWGP Championship against Okada. And
Yeah.
this is one of the biggest matches, of course, people are looking forward to, and maybe in the past decade as well, because you have so much chemistry. And every time I see a picture or a video of you two together, you seem to show some aggression. And I love that so much. But is this the biggest match you think in Wrestle Kingdom history?
It could be. It could be the way it's naturally been built up over the years. It was only a few years ago we were set the day after Wrestle Kingdom, I believe, at a press conference when he was welcoming me into Chaos, and I told him that I'd eventually come for him, and he kind of laughed at it. And now look, it's the other way around, and he's going to have to be coming for me now as well. So it very well could be one of the biggest matches, if not the biggest in Wrestle Kingdom history. Like you said, I'm on a roll. He's been doing all right, apart from the one blip, which was myself, of course, a very significant blip, but nonetheless. So yeah, leading up to that, it is going to be a big match, of course. But I step up to the big moments, and people say he does too. So we'll just have to see who's left standing after it.
It's going to be outstanding. I cannot wait for that. But so every time the camera's on you, it feels like you create headlines. Is that Do you think this is by design on what you want to happen, or people are finally listening to every word you're saying?
Probably a little bit of both. It's probably a little bit of both. Some of it by design, and then a lot of it's maybe, I don't know, without me realizing it. For example, I remember doing after Forbidden Door, we had the post-show press conference, and for some reason people were, I don't know, taken aback by how I was, or surprised. Whereas if you'd ever just seen a single second of, I don't know, me talking after matches, you would have known what to expect. So, what was the question again? I feel like I got away from where I was going.
It was
Oh,
more,
people,
yeah.
yeah, people always, yeah. So I think it's just different to a lot of people as well, especially over here in the States. They maybe so much used to, I don't know, the wrestling they see on TV could be a lot more conformed, whereas this platform we have through New Japan have a bit more freedom and stuff to
Yeah.
say and just do and be, just do whatever I want type of thing. I think people can buy into and enjoy that a bit more.
And then it felt like for so long, you were everywhere last year. It felt like every time I turned on a wrestling program, you were on it. And that obviously widened your spectrum. Obviously, more paychecks are being cashed in your name. But like, how does it make you feel? Because every single company wants you on their cards.
I mean, I guess it's a good feeling as well. It feels like last year. That was actually only the beginning of this year, I believe.
I know the pandemic really affected everyone's brains.
Exactly. First few months of this year, yeah, where it was it'd be AEW Impact and then Strong, and then would even have I believe they'd even have matches from the Access stuff from over in Japan
Yeah.
sometimes as well. So again, it's just I don't know. I guess it's vindication that all the hard work kind of pays off when everybody's wanting you at the same time. I guess. But like I said, it's kind of what I've had to come to expect of myself. Otherwise, a lot of those moments would be able to they could be too big for some, but kind of prepared myself for them along the way.
And then obviously you have, the WWE, you have AEW, Impact, NWA. There's so many organizations putting on amazing professional wrestling. But what do you think why do you think New Japan sticks out from the bunch?
No, again, you'll have to ask someone that watches all of them because I don't, to be honest. I kind of just do my thing, and if it works, it works. It's hard for me to speak to that because I don't watch all of them.
Yeah.
Like I said, I kind of touched on it. If I had to guess something, we just have a lot more freedom. I think maybe that's because a lot of it's lost in translation. So then they kind of let a lot of things slip that maybe they wouldn't if they understood half of it. But I think the freedom of that, people can enjoy that. But other than that, again, you'd have to ask somebody that watches all of it, maybe yourself.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
I try to watch everything, of course, but
right.
if at the same time, if you look at the history of New Japan, at least the past 10 years, it's suddenly Access TV really brought New Japan to new eyeballs that weren't familiar. They knew about it, but it was like, oh, I got to go on this website, I got to log in. But now with Access TV supplying these a banger of matches, and yet it's so strange to see older matches with stars who are in different federations, and it always feels like New Japan is always ready with the next, I don't know, breakout star or just a new regime of stars to continue on. And you're one of the names, I feel like, that you've been in the business for so long, but yet it's the past 3 4 years your name is just popping up everywhere. How does it make you feel? Because obviously the hard work goes in, you know how good you are, but now finally everyone's telling you, like myself, how good you are.
Right. Yeah, you talk about with New Japan, there's always somebody next that's ready to step up. That's kind of down to, I think, the training there and the high quality in the expectations of the guys. You got to be up to a certain level for the most part to be able to be in there. So there's always guys ready to step up over there as well. What was the second part to that? Sorry, it was quite long.
No, quite all right. It was more just how incredible New Japan is to transition from older stars to new stars. People leave, like, Kenny
Right.
Omega and the Young Bucks were there, and then they went to, formed AEW. You had AJ
Yeah.
Styles, you had the OC, leaving to go to WWE. Like, it's always a transition of people throughout the organization. And now I would assume in your eyes and his mind, you are the face right now of New Japan. Would you
Yeah,
disagree?
it's kind of odd. So I guess I'll be transitioning out, and somebody else will be coming in soon. I guess if that happens at some point, it'll be quite a cool full circle thing. But I guess it is. Yeah, I guess it's when you're in the moment, I kind of don't realize it. I kind of step back and kind of look at where you're at, but because I kind of don't notice it in the same way as yourself. Because for me, that's just day after day. It's just what my life is, I guess. But yeah, there's always somebody ready to step up into the next spot.
Yeah.
Nobody's irreplaceable, and I think that's been shown through New Japan over the years. Even when people leave, people expect things to happen, and when all those guys left, when Kenny and the Elite left, I think we had one of our best years ever was 2019. Not obviously not because they left at all, and again we had a lot of momentum from them, but there was also guys ready to step up into those spots straight away.
And how do you feel about that? Is there a itch with you saying like, okay, well, I'm champion, I'm doing what I'm doing, I'm main eventing Wrestle Kingdom, I'm the best you've ever been. Is there an opportunity you think that you will eventually leave and or stay? Like, obviously it's a hard answer to give out while you're the champion, but yet is that option on the table, you think?
I mean, every option's always on the table anywhere though. You can never say never with anything. I could say I'll never leave. I could say I definitely will. I never know. I don't even know what tomorrow holds. But I don't try to think too far ahead with that stuff because you have no control over it anyway. So I just try to control over what I can in my immediate future. But so will I leave? Maybe. Will I stay? Who knows? Maybe. You can never know. I don't even know.
And
Yeah.
what is the state of the Bullet Club? Because it seems the Bullet Club is in different organizations across the entire world under different names. Some of the Bullet Club, some call themselves the OC, but yet they all seem to represent the Bullet Club. How does that make you feel?
I think that shows that Bullet Club's the best that's ever been, and it's obviously under the best leadership it's ever been under for it to be having such a big impact in so many different places all at once. Like you said, yeah, whether it's different names or not, I believe the guys just said something the other day. They're still Bullet Club as well. Different names. The whole point of it is they're still having that same influence and impact that's come from Bullet Club as well. Again, if they're different names, whatever.
Right.
Um, Sorry, go on.
No, but how does that make you feel though? Because obviously you're the one of the biggest parts of the Bullet Club in the past few
It's
years.
just another great feeling of I told you so. You could go back 6 months. I think I did a few interviews around the time I was busy with Impact, and I was saying what the plans were for Bullet Club and extending it to as many places as I can, making it bigger and better than ever. And look, fast forward to where we are now, and I've done exactly that. I kind of tell people what I'm going to do well before I do it, and then people are still surprised when I end up doing it. But people start to listen more and more.
Now, did you ever talk to Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows when their contracts in Impact Wrestling were coming up about coming to New Japan and joining back up, or was that not part of what you're doing with
I
them?
mean, you're asking about private conversations now, though. But I mean, are we going to think that we wouldn't have talked about them coming back? Of course, we would have had to talk about them because, we very much aligned us all appearing back at Wrestling Dontaku, on the anniversary of Bullet Club. So, of course, we would have had to talk. When and what we spoke about, though, that is between me and them.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But how do you feel though when you look at the WWE and you see, Gallows and Anderson, they call themselves the OEC. Obviously, they can't call themselves the Bullet Club. Even Luke Gallows told a story once about how he tried to trademark Bullet Club after it was created a few years ago, and he didn't realize New Japan did it first, which hurt his pocket probably. But how does it make you feel though? Because the Bullet Club you go back a few years ago and those Bullet Club shirts were everywhere. They still are, but you got a Hot Topic in the States, and you would see Bullet Club shirts everywhere. It was the coolest shirt you could buy. Go back to Austin 316. So is that something you cherish? As in, look what we are doing. We are creating a movement versus just a wrestling faction.
No, I don't think about that, especially in the t-shirt side of that, because honestly, I wasn't part of it back then, so I really don't. That was kind of the success of those guys doing it then. What you're seeing now is a result of the success of what I'm doing now. With the kind of widespread stuff with it
Yeah.
all, as well.
Did you enjoy your experience with AEW at Forbidden Door? Obviously, you beat Okada, Page, and Cole, so you must have enjoyed your experience. But obviously, people want
Yeah,
to know what's the difference between working with New Japan versus AEW.
that's great. They treated me great there, and no complaints at all.
Nice.
Yeah.
But everyone online reads rumors. Obviously, it's like the bread and butter of wrestling industry, and everyone was reading about Nick Khan saying he was working with New Japan, and then you had Tony Khan saying, "What are you talking about? I'm working with New Japan." What do you say to that? Because you got two Khans saying they're working with one company, but yet obviously we had the Forbidden Door pay-per-view. So clearly one's working with one and one is saying they're working with one. So is there an option for you to show up on like a Monday Night Raw or a SmackDown, or is that out of the cards?
I'm really not sure what part you're asking there. I have no clue about any of that stuff. Not even sure what room you're talking about. I wouldn't know who to. You're asking the wrong person about if you're trying to get inside info on something like that. I have no idea. If there's chances of me showing up, I maybe there isn't. If there was, I wouldn't be telling you in an interview, would I?
I don't know. Some people have definitely said things to me they shouldn't
No,
have said
exactly.
in an
Luckily,
interview
I'm not.
before.
I'm not as dumb as most. I'm not going to try and fall for it and try to give away any sort of thing like that. But in terms of some rumors about honestly, I'm not even sure what you're talking about there.
The idea that Tony Khan, AEW, Nick Khan, WWE were both working with New Japan, but yet one obviously had the Forbidden Door pay-per-view and one did nothing with.
Yeah, I have no knowledge on anything behind the scenes there, and if I did, I wouldn't give it away. I have no that whole scenario you just spoke about there. It's never taken time out of my life, and it's annoying me that's taking time out of my life right now. It's nothing I'm really ever going to think or care about.
Well, I apologize. I
There you go. Thank
apologize.
you.
Though Wrestle Kingdom again is coming up, one of the biggest events in New Japan's history. And again, how excited are you? You're the main event, and you've done this before, but this time around, I feel like so many more eyeballs around because this Okada storyline with you have just been growing and growing and growing and growing. Like, how pumped are you for this event?
Not pumped. It's just normal. You talk about it growing. That's just the result of me being involved in it, and that's just the result of me being who I am. So it's uh, again, this stuff is natural. It's the stuff I've been used to for years now. I only just turned 30. I've already main evented Wrestle Kingdom before. Sold out Madison Square Garden. Sold out United Center. So doing this against Okada for the what is this 4-1 already? So this will be the sixth time. Um, it's no new thing to me. So it's something to get pumped for. Maybe about a few minutes before it, but we're months out now. So no, I'm not getting pumped right now for it.
Well, October 28th, New York City Rumble on 44th Street is coming up, and I'm pumped. You're pumped. We're all pumped. Jay White, thank you so much for being here on NBC's 10 Count. I've been Seafall. He's been Jay White. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.